We all love to watch anime at some stage of our life, and many of us moved on to other types of media such as mangas, manhwas, etc. But recently, a new genre has emerged. Starting off in China and growing to be one of the biggest sources of media within the country, web novels have slowly but surely climbed their way up the popularity graph and made a name for themselves among English and other international communities as well. However, as with everything in life, there are always some that stick out, particularly one that is not only known as the most popular web novel, but is also set to become the next big anime and media globally. Lord of the Mysteries is a steampunk Victorian-era-esque novel with over 52 million views and a staggering rating of an almost perfect 5 stars. Now, not only has it grown to have its own cult in China with massive billboards, cinema events, merchandise stores, etc., but it has also garnered massive support from all over the globe with people on various platforms such as TikTok, YouTube, etc. Now, this worldwide support ended up getting the attention of Tencent, one of the largest multimedia groups ever, and they went through with creating an anime for it. Now, the news of this anime has spread far and wide, with each one of the trailers getting hundreds of thousands of views and one of them garnering over 1 million views on YouTube alone. But wait, you might be asking yourself, hey Lumian, you explained how Lord of the Mysteries is the next big thing and why everyone loves it, but what exactly is Lord of the Mysteries? You see, Lord of the Mysteries revolves around the main character called Klein Moretti. Now, originally he was a normal university student who was a bit more introverted than most and was a big fan of visiting the library. Now, one day things go wrong for him as he tried to perform a luck ritual he stumbles across at a random book at the library, and little did he know that this event would change everything for him. Waking up the day after the ritual, he is transported into a new world and finds out he took over the body of a man called Klein Moretti after the original one took his own life mysteriously. Now, the new Klein Moretti, or Zhu Mingui as mentioned, takes over the memories of the original Klein Moretti and is thrown into this new and unfamiliar world and begins to run into various coincidences. Now, these coincidences eventually lead him into being investigated by police officers with supernatural powers, and he ends up joining their cause in an attempt of getting a hope to return back to his original world. Now, finding out that this world is indeed supernatural and regular humans can gain powers was quite a shock to Klein, but the method to get these powers was quite tricky and strange. Let me explain them to you. In order to get powers in Lord of the Mysteries and become a Beyonder, someone that goes beyond what the average human is capable of, one must drink a potion. Sounds easy enough, right? However, the difficulty arises in the fact that not only are these potions incredibly rare, especially as you go further down your pathway, but more so that they are incredibly dangerous. Every single sequence you rise, you risk losing control of yourself and becoming a horrible abomination, more of a beast than a man. Advancing from one sequence to another becomes so difficult as you climb your pathway that you have to prepare rituals before you even drink the potion, some of which take hundreds if not thousands of years of preparation to pull off successfully, and for some even with that amount of preparation it fails. Now that you know about what a Beyonder is, how to become one, and the risk involved in getting stronger, let me explain to you the options you have. These 22 pathways are all drastically different from one another, yet always remain balanced as there isn't one specific pathway that is straight up better than the other. They all have their own uses, for example the Mother pathway, in which a traditional Beyonder of this pathway would usually be placed into a support role and act as a super buff doctor for their ally. Or the Hunter pathway, which is basically the complete opposite of that and are the ones leading the charge and are capable of controlling the weather and augmenting fire to their will, so just super cool guys pretty much. Now, our best boy and main character Klein Moretti doesn't choose any of these two and instead opts for the Seer pathway, which seems incredibly unassuming and weak at first, with his first upgrade giving him access into divination and anti-divination like a buffed Seer, but with Klein's personality and incredible resourcefulness, he quickly turns what seems to be a weak pathway at first into the strongest in the series. Just as a sneak peek of what he can do much later in the series without spoiling too much, towards the end of the series, Klein is able to deceive and fool laws of the world itself. Yes, you heard me correctly. Things he can do, for example, are forcibly lowering his opponent's IQ and adding things into history that never even happened, but everyone else in the entire world will believe it happened just because he wanted it to. Now, I won't say too much else, but this shows you how he will progress throughout the story and just how strong he becomes, because I love when that's in the story. Now, one of the most fascinating parts of the story is the Tarot Club. Early on in the series, within the first few chapters, Klein accidentally pulls 2 random people up into a foggy, grey castle he didn't even know he can control. Now, these 2 people are one, an experienced pirate currently stuck at sequence 8, eager to advance to sequence 7, and a young noble girl who's not even a Beyonder yet, but wishes to become one. These 2 people quickly start discussing potential deals they can make in order to mutually benefit each other, and both assume that Klein is some kind of deity capable of summoning people from across the entire world into a mysterious foggy castle, and ask him 2 questions: when they meet again and what his name is. Klein answers with 4 PM every Monday, and he names himself the Fool. That is how the legend of the Tarot Club and the Fool begins, as the Tarot Club starts off as a small gathering between these three people into a proper organization and eventually a whole Orthodox church with up to 9 key members and their corresponding major arcana cards. Klein uses the Tarot Club and his identity as an ancient deity, gathering his strength back to his advantage to advance as quickly as possible in order to achieve his goal of returning home one day. And it is just so interesting to see him try and act as some kind of deity while knowing that towards the beginning he's one of the weakest, if not the weakest one in the Tarot Club. Now that you have a grasp of some of the basics of Lord of the Mysteries and a bit about the story and how intricately tied everything together is, it's not hard to imagine that Lord of the Mysteries will grow to take over media with the anime releasing in just 2 months. I'm telling you guys, now's the best time to start the series and to be known as an OG. Very soon, all you'll be hearing about online is this series. Get into it.